Okay, I wanted to talk about, like the law being illegalized about, people that are homosexual or gay or whatever can now marry anywhere in the 50 states. The thing about it is, I wanted to talk about, I know I looked at this Christian website and they said, before we judge and, when they get married or whatever, they're going to be like getting bonded by God in marriage, and they're going to be going to the churches and stuff, looking to have a relationship with God. That's one thing I do not understand. I understand that they are married and now they have like life and God and their priorities and stuff like that now, since they're married and stuff like that. They have kids and all that other stuff and their, like goals in the near future. But you know what? It's just weird how they want to go to church, but then they, like, if you're homosexual and you want to stay homosexual, I advise you not to go to church at all, because everyone knows that it is God's law that people are not homosexual, and they definitely do not get married as homosexuals. So it's like, when you go to church, you are not willing to change your homosexuality, there is no point in going to church, because you are not following the law of God. And it doesn't really matter if you go to church or not, because if something did happen to you, if you did die, you would probably go to hell because you're still living in sin. And it doesn't matter if you're gay, homosexual, or if you're a liar, or you're a stealer, or you're a fornicator. All those sins can take you to hell. So it's like, that's just one of the 60 sins. Well, not 60, but 10 sins that you can go to hell for. And it's not like the 10 commandments, but it's still a sin. So it's like, I don't understand how people that are gay want to go to church, because it's like, I understand that you want to be with God, and He does love you. I mean, He doesn't love the fact that you're gay, but He loves the fact that you are human, and He loves you because of that. But gay people don't understand this. It's like, I looked at this picture where it said there was protesting, and it was like, God loves gays, and then another Christian was holding up a Bible verse, something about homosexual is against God's law and stuff like that. God does love you. He does love you. Doesn't matter if you're gay or not. He does love you. He loves freaking a freaking murderer in jail or in prison. He loves him too. But just because he loves you doesn't mean that you are automatically off his radar or something, you're off. Of course, I'm not your judge or whatever. I'm not going to send you to hell. But it's you and gay people or homosexual people want to go to church. I don't understand that, because you're going to follow God, but then you're not actually following Him anyways, because you're being homosexual. So it's and He clearly does not allow that. So it's you are going to follow Him, go to church, but you are not willing to listen to one of His laws. And if you don't listen to one of His laws, you might as well not even listen to the other 15, because if you don't listen to one, then there's nothing that you can do about that. And it's I don't know, because when you become homosexual, you obviously, and you get married, obviously you love this person, and then when you meet people Christians, and they tell you, or when you read the Bible and they tell you that it's not okay to be homosexual, this person that you're in love with, it is not okay to be in love with this person, and you marry this person, and you think that this person is your soulmate and everything. So it's that's really hard to do. So if you don't even want to change that you're homosexual and you go to church, you shouldn't go to church, because there's no point of going to church, because God does not allow that. So it's you're going to follow every other law except that one. And it doesn't matter if you follow 10 and not follow 1, because He's still going to look at that one law that you did not follow. And one thing that I seen on my Facebook was like this. The guy that I'm friends with, he was like, so now that it's illegal for, well, legalized for gay people to get married or whatever, are they going to marry in their churches, since most religions, they do not allow, homosexuality and stuff like that. And another girl commented on it, and she was like, yeah, I don't think they will allow it. But then another girl that I know that is bisexual, she commented on it and was like, well, I don't think it's right that they would not allow us to do it when people that get married and they go there to get married, but they, it's not, in most religions, it's not, you're not allowed to have sex before marriage, but they still do, and then they go and get married at a church. I don't allow that. I mean, I don't understand that, and I get what she said. That's a really, really, really good point, because most Christians, not most Christians, but some Christians don't really read the Bible like they should, or they don't really follow the laws like they should, and it's like, yeah, that is very true. Like, that is one of the laws that you're not supposed to do, is have sex before marriage. So when they do that, they're going to be judged just the same as people that are gay are going to be judged. They're going to be judged bad too, It's like, of course, when they get married, they're no longer fornicating because they're married now, but they will still need to repent of that sin because it was a major sin that they did. So yeah, they are still not off the hook. Just because someone, is a Christian doesn't mean that they're like, can just go sin, Like, you can just get in trouble too for sinning. We are not allowed to sin, just like anyone else isn't. So yeah, I just think that people that are homosexual should not go to church. I won't look at people stupid if they're homosexual and they go to church, but I just feel like it's just not, like when you become a Christian, you obviously want to follow God and serve God, and by not keeping His laws, it's not serving God. So it's like, I don't understand why they would want to go to church and know that they're clearly violating God, and you're not listening, you're not being obedient. So like, I don't know about that. Unless they was willing to change their homosexuality, that's the only how it would be able to work. But just staying homosexual and going to church, there's no point in doing that. I mean, yeah, hopefully churches won't like stop you from coming, but like, most homosexuals think that it's just the Christians that are the judges. Like, all these Christians, they just want to judge me and blah blah blah. But God, He loves me. He doesn't judge me like they judge me. No, He doesn't judge you like we judge you. Actually, He might even judge you more than what we judge you, because actually He's the one that does the judging anyway. So you probably want us to judge you besides Him, because He's the one who can send you to hell. We can't send you to hell. So it's like, you should maybe want our judgment instead of His judgment, because He's the one that will put severe judgment on you. We're not the ones that will do that. So it's like, and plus, like, Christians are supposed to, discern. So it's like, make good judgment. So when a Christian says something about you being homosexual, may not be wrong that they're judging you. It just means that they are doing it. They are supposed to judge you. We are supposed to judge each other. Like, we're supposed to judge other Christians. We're supposed to judge people that are not Christians. Like, there's two types of judging: discerning and condemning. Condemning is wrong, but discerning is okay. Discerning is a type of judgment, but it's a right judgment that God allows. So I walk up to someone and say, you shouldn't, be homosexual or whatever, which I would never do that, but okay, if I said that and they took an offense and be like, oh, you're condemning me, you're judging me, you're a sinner too. I am doing it in a right way, and a lot of people do not understand that when Christians judge, they automatically think that they're doing it wrong and that they are bad and blah 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 blah. It's not bad, like, to judge if you discern, but don't condemn people for, being like that. But there's been a whole lot of Bibles, verses, and Bible chapters that people in the Bible have judged, and they were not punished for judging others because that's what they were supposed to do. Jesus actually tells us to go and confront people and judge people, because, I mean, if you don't, you are actually going to be in trouble if you do not judge people, because you are going to allow them to stay in sin. Like, what if I seen someone, like, lying, and they didn't know what lying was and know that it was a sin, and I told them, I actually, like, saved this person, or actually, like, helped this person out a whole lot, Like, some people don't know about God. And even if they did know about God, sometimes if you're just going to help that person, that's not wrong, and it's not it's not a wrong judgment. It's actually a good judgment when you're trying to help other people by telling them. And I know some Christians overdo it with God and stuff like that, but it's like, you cannot always, just because one Christian in your life acts really crazy and they want to judge you all the time in a bad way, condemning you, doesn't mean that they can speak for all Christians, because all Christians are not like that. And people that be like, I don't want to become a Christian because look how Christians act, how they judge you and all this other stuff. Well, you know what? If you don't become a Christian because of that, that's not a good enough excuse to not become a Christian, because other Christians have, like, made you like that. Like, if you know God's not like that, and you've seen other people that were Christians that are not like that, then don't let that stop you from being a Christian. Because at the end of the day, when you say that, and you make up that excuse saying, oh, I didn't want to be a Christian because Christians were mean, and I didn't want to be mean like them. I understand that. You don't have to be mean like them. Like, if every black person is ghetto, do I have to be ghetto? Or do I not have to like that I'm black because everyone else that's black is ghetto and violent? No. So you can't speak for every Christian. Like, every black person cannot speak for every black person, and every white person cannot speak for every white person. Like, everyone's different. Like, don't make that stop you from being with God because you see other people that are not Christians or whatever, like, acting fool. So, yeah, but I also do not advise homosexuals to go to church. I don't advise anyone to go to church that is not willing to serve God and follow all His laws. And I know there's a lot of people in church that go to church and do not follow God's laws. Like, they pick the Bible, like, they follow the laws that they want to follow. And those people will be judged. They're not going to get away with just following 5 laws and you follow 10, like, God knows clearly that these people do not do what they're supposed to do, so you don't have to, like, be mad about it, because he can clearly know. He sees this person all day long. He sees every single thing they're doing. So it's like, don't be mad if you see people that are in sin or living in sin and don't care, Christians that are hypocrites, because guess what? God knows. He's not a fool, He knows everything. So it's like, he knows these people are like this. So it's like, don't let people like that stop you from being with God, because that's not a good enough excuse for Him. Like, He's not going to be like, when you die and you stand before Him, He's not going to be like, yeah, well, they were mean to you, so, I'm going to give you a pat on the back. No, He's not going to give you a pat on the back. Like, that's not a good enough excuse to be. Some people, like, have, like, been willing to die to serve God. So, like, do you think that people being mean to you is going to be a good enough excuse for Him? No. So it's like, be with God, but don't expect to be with God or go to church if you do not want to follow His laws and you clearly know that you're not going to.